Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for subscribing and being here. Today we are going to talk about how to start a keto lifestyle. So I have 8 tips on what you should do first. These are just my opinions. You can do whatever works best for you, but these are some of the things that I did before starting. So here we go. Number 1, set an attainable goal. It does not have to be related to weight. It could be maybe you want to pay attention to how much sugar you take in this week, or maybe you want to drink all your water, or eat all your vegetables, or take a vitamin, or go running. Pick a goal, set one. It's your choice. Once you've done that, write it down. Write it down everywhere. What's that show with Gabrielle Union, Becoming Mary Jane or something like that? She wrote goals and she wrote notes to herself and she put them all over the walls so you can remember, so you don't forget. Put it as your screensaver on your phone so you know what you're working towards. Number 2, set your intentions. What is your why? Why are you doing this? Is it because you want to be healthy? Is it because you want to lose weight? You want to feel good? Why are you doing this? It's different from a goal. A goal is, this week I want to try to drink some more water. What I'm asking you to do first, tip number 2, is come up with the why. Why? What's your overall reason for wanting to change your lifestyle for the better? And what comes with that is to be flexible. Things change, your ideas change. This week you might want to say, I want to drink water for the next 3 days, and then something comes up and you only drank water for a day and a half. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Don't quit. That's the most important thing, is don't quit. Number 3, get a journal. So I tell a lot of my friends, and this might sound familiar to some of them, is to write it down. I was also an English teacher for 9 years, so I always had my kids write. And sometimes I would tell my kids, hey, if you got something to tell me, but you don't want to say it out loud, you don't want other people to know, write it down. And it's so much easier, because what happens is when you share your feelings and your thoughts and bad things or good things with people, not saying that you can't, I'm just saying when you do, so often you take in their opinions and their feelings and their energy about the subject. But when you write it down, it's just you and the paper, and that's it. What I do though is I pretend like I'm talking to God, and I'm like, God, here it is. This is what happened. I'm gonna write it down, and I'm gonna try my best to let it go, because it has happened. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't change that it happened. It happened. But what I'm gonna do this time is I'm gonna determine how I'm not gonna let it happen again. And then I'm gonna move forward. So writing it down is super therapeutic. I suggest you get a journal, because you're going to need it, because this is not gonna be easy. It's gonna be ups and downs, challenges, but you're gonna keep going. Tip number 4, read about the different types of intermittent fasting. Fasting is key in keto. Try to make that right? Key in keto. You need to fast. It will help you with your hunger, and it will help you lose the weight faster. So there are different hours that you can start with. Most people start with 16 hours of fasting. You can do 18, you can do 20, you can do 24. If you get to the 24 and higher range, you're probably doing OMAD, or 1 meal a day. That means where you eat all of your macros, which we'll talk about next, in one meal, and then you don't eat for another 24 hours. So it's really important to learn about the benefits of intermittent fasting, because basically what it does is it gives your body an opportunity to break down all of the food that you're consuming before your next meal. So you eat, right? And so often we don't give our body enough time to break down and get rid of and process everything before we put our next meal in. But when you're doing intermittent fasting, you give your body that opportunity to break down what you've put in and then you add more to it. So your body is not like trying to catch up. It's caught up because you gave it time to rest. So it's super beneficial. If you don't know much about intermittent fasting, I suggest you look them up. Tip number 5, get your macros. So I'm not going to talk a lot about macros because it's very important for your research, and I want you to find out about why it's important to get your macros. You will hear some people, and you'll find on blogs that some people are like, I don't count my macros, I'm still keto and I'm still successful. And you can be, but when you're first starting out on keto, you definitely want to get your macros done. So a couple ways. You can get them done by someone professionally. So I follow someone on Instagram. Her name is Black Keto Girl, and she did mine for me. I sent her my weight, my height, my age. There's a whole list of things you have to send. Another option is to download on your Android or your iPhone a macros calculator. And you put all those things that I just said, plus a couple other items in, and then it calculates and it breaks down what you're going to need. So it gives you your calories and it gives you your 3 macros: fat, protein, and carbs. So I'm going to give you a short little explanation of those 3 and how they play into keto. But again, you have to do your research and figure this out yourself because you need to know it for yourself. But you can always come back to this video and listen to what I have to say. So the first is fat, good fat. There are a lot of misconceptions out there about keto that it's all bacon and butter, and it's not. You, in fact, don't have to have any bacon at all, and you don't have to have butter if you don't like it. Like me, I don't really like butter, but I use it when I have to use it. But you can use something called MCT oils, look it up, coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, ghee, butter, heavy whipping cream has some fat in it. All of these things are healthy fats that we use, and they're liquid fat. So they're not fat that you're getting from food items, it's liquid fat. So when you get your macros, it will give you a number and you need to meet your goal. Now, it's really important to not exceed this because then you'll start gaining weight. But you want to be very close or at your fat intake goal. So let me give you an example. Mine is 127 grams of fat, right? If I consume about 110 grams of fat, I will be good to fast anywhere from 16 to 22 hours or so. And sometimes I push myself and I go to 24. If I only consume about 75 grams of my 127 grams needed, I'm going to be hungry because I haven't given myself enough fat to sustain me for my fasting period. So it is important for you to get your liquid fats in so that you're not hungry. And that's where the fasting comes in. So if you have enough fat, you don't have cravings, you're not hungry. And so what can you do? You can fast. And the more fat you have within your range, the longer you fast. So that's why it's important for you to get your fats in. Okay, protein. So if you are a vegetarian or a vegan or pescatarian, you don't have to have meat. You don't have to have meat at all. You can substitute it for other things that provide protein. However, you cannot have beans. I don't know if you know that, but beans have too many carbs for you to use them as your protein. Good for me because I don't like beans. Yeah. But you can have, so my protein goal is 70 grams. So you don't have to come close to this at all. If you don't want a lot of meat, don't have it. You could also have seafood if you choose. Seafood, fish, meat, whatever, chicken, turkey. Just make sure that you have 70 grams of it. Be very careful not to go over whatever your fat goal is because don't go over your protein goals because meat, too much of it could turn into glucose and then it will kick you out of ketosis because you can't have sugar when you're in keto, right? All right, and finally, carbs. Carbs. So 20 grams of carbs is what you need to stay under in order for you to be in ketosis. You could do keto and eat carbs, but to get into ketosis, you have to be under 20 grams. I recently heard someone ask me about 50 grams, and then I saw another video where somebody was like, I try to stay under 50 grams. Everything that I've done, all the research that I've done has always said to stay under 20 grams. So I'm not sure about 50 grams, but if you read somewhere that 50 grams works for you, then do you, honey. But I'm going to tell you about 20 grams because that's what I've followed for the last 2 years. So 20 grams of carbs. Now, when you start out on keto, what you have to realize is that your carbs should only come from, you guessed, vegetables, not the other stuff. So, and by the other stuff, I mean all the things that say they're keto friendly and they only have 2 net grams of carbs or 4 or 6, and it sounds like it's amazing. Like I can have 20 grams and this only has 4. Yes. But in the beginning, if you want to get into ketosis, you need to only get your carbs from veggies. Vegetables will be your source of carbs. And you need to have 7 to 10 cups of vegetables a day because you want your body to still get its nutrients, everything it needs. That's where it comes from your vegetables. So you need to make sure you have 7 to 10 cups. Now, when you're in ketosis, can you use other things as your source of carbs and stay into ketosis? Yes. So like some things like Halo ice cream and Rebel ice cream, they have only like 4 net carbs. And how do you get your net carbs is you subtract any fiber that's in the item from the amount of carbs it has. So if your ice cream has total carbs 9 grams, but it has 5 grams of fiber, then you subtract 9 from 5, and that gives you 4 net carbs. That is how you figure out your net carbs. So pay attention to the beginning days of trying to get into ketosis. You should only be getting your carbs from vegetables. Once you're past ketosis, you can add other little things in, but you got to be careful because it's easy to get yourself kicked out. That's why it's important to test your ketone strips. So if you know you've had something heavy carbs or extra carbs, I would test myself after I've eaten something because your ketone levels do change. Sometimes they drop, and then you'll know if you're out of ketosis. By the way, I did check and track, and I am in ketosis. I'm at 0.5. So I'm still burning. All right. Number 6, probably one of the most important besides your macros, is to get you a support team. So a group of people who understand that you are about to embark on a new journey, who understands for the next week or so you are going to be pretty grumpy. You're not going to want to talk very much. You're going to be hungry. People who are going to encourage you to drink your water or go for a walk or send you motivational quotes and posts and like, hey girl, you got this, or hey sis, like this is, you got to find those people, because I tell you, and the next one will go deeper into this, people are going to be negative. Whenever you're trying to do something to better yourself and people aren't on that same page or on that same journey, they're going to be negative. Maybe not right away, but trust me. So you need that support team. Maybe it's 1 person, maybe it's 5 people, maybe it's just God. Whatever you need to get a support team, okay? Number 7, do your research, okay? So I talked about it a couple different times during this video, but you have got to do your research. Why? Because 1, I can't tell you everything. I can, but you got to know it for yourself, because the minute you tell people that you are on keto, immediately they're going to start being like, oh no, keto is bad. Keto is so bad. Oh, have you heard about keto? Like, oh, it's just bacon and butter. Oh, it's all bad cholesterol. Oh, you're not going to be able to sustain that. And it happened to me. And people told me before, like, you know, keto, people always have something negative to say. And I was like, no, they ain't gonna say that much, right? But they did. And at first I was like, okay. And it kind of kept coming, like, are you sure you should be keto? Like, should you talk to your doctor about it? Are you sure? And eventually I stopped responding. I smiled and I said, thank you for your input and your concern, but I got it. I've done some research. And I kept it pushing because, one, they're not on this journey with me, and two, they haven't done the research, so they don't understand that I'm not consuming a bunch of bad fat, that I'm not just eating bacon and butter all day, that I'm eating 7 cups of vegetables, that I'm taking apple cider vinegar gummies, that I'm taking a multivitamin, that I'm checking my glucose to make sure that my sugar is intact, that, you know, I'm drinking a gallon of water a day, that I'm not intaking sugar or carbs, that I'm working out. They don't know all that, and they don't want to know all that. But I know that. So I now know when they're going all about like, oh, no, don't do that, that I'm just not going to get into it with them. I'm not going to argue with them. I'm going to say thank you. And I'm going to keep it pushing. And I'm going to keep surprising them when I come back. And I'm like, yeah, I lost 10 pounds. How long you kept it off? 2 years. Yep. 2 years. I'm down 42 pounds in 2 years. Did I gain a little bit back? Yep. But did I refocus and start over again and get back to what I know works from my research? And now I'm at 48 pounds. Yeah, that's me. That's me. So please, please, please don't let anybody change your focus. If this is what you want to do, do it. But make sure you do that research. All right. Now this is the most important. Before you get started on anything, of course, you should talk to your doctor, but you also need to pray. Pray for God to give you strength, to get you through this, to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, and that you have the ability to sustain it and keep it going so you feel happy for you. If nothing else, you should do that anyway, right? This isn't for anybody else. This is for you. So, like I said, pray and make sure that you are ready to start on this journey. And finally, a bonus tip is to subscribe to my channel so you can get more videos. Subscribe to my channel so that you can get more videos and more tips and more real talk like this. I will description box, and I will tag the girl that I follow on Instagram and all of the things that I use. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this useful. Bye guys.